Hi, I'm Roseanne. Today I'm in a community garden where my husband and I have an allotment. We have a 10 by 15 foot plot, which is just the perfect size to augment our very small home vegetable garden. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to rotate our vegetables from year to year, which is good for the health of the vegetables as well as the soil. When we planned this garden, we decided to plant a potager. A potager is a French term meaning a garden for the pot, or a kitchen garden. Today it pretty much means an ornamental vegetable garden or an ornamental edible garden. At any rate, let me take you through the evolution of the garden from the plan to where it is today, and let's get started. I developed the original plan using strong linear design elements. To help with the design process, I use software available from veg.com. My first step was to create paths for access. I had one path going east-west and the other going north-south, the effect being a cross pattern that divided the 10 by 15 foot garden into 4 quadrants. Next, I added a center structure as both a focal point and a place for snow peas to climb on. Then I added a diagonal pattern using red and white onions. This had the effect of dividing each quadrant into 2 triangular mini gardens. In all, I had 8 triangular mini gardens to work with. I bordered the entire plan with 3 varieties of carrots and finally added pollinator-friendly red zinnias. Before I get into the vegetable varieties for the rest of the plan, let's take a look at how the garden looked in its beginning stages. This first photo is a quintessential before photo. As rough as it may look, the soil was actually wonderful to work with once it was weeded. We used string and tape measures to lay out the garden. Next, we put mulch on the path areas and created the pyramidal structure in the center using 4 wood sticks and some twine. We were really pleased with how it looked. Once the garden was fully laid out, we planted seeds, onion sets, and some small plants. Here's a picture exactly 4 weeks later. It's a good picture because you can really see the structure, particularly now that you can see the stems of the onions. Another 4 weeks have passed, and here's the garden now. Quite a change in 4 weeks. We've kept it watered and weeded, and we are being rewarded. We made the decision to change out some of the vegetables in our plan, and in other cases, nature made the decision for us. Throughout these changes, we made sure to keep the integrity of the structured potager design. Let's look at the sections or quadrants of the garden. The plan for the northeast section of the garden worked out quite well. We had radishes, beets, kale, in addition to onions and carrots. Today it looks great. Everything has come up and seems to be thriving. The carrots are forming a nice border and the kale couldn't be healthier. Kale is such a great and healthy vegetable. I think we'll plant more next year. The zinnias are also just lovely, in addition to attracting pollinators. We did already harvest the radishes, and soon the beets will be ready as well. The southeast quadrant plan called for potatoes, tomatoes, and basil, in addition to carrots and onions. Unfortunately, our potato plants got infested with Colorado potato beetle, as did several other allotments in the community garden. So we needed to pull those out. We replaced the potatoes with zucchini, shown here as small plants. Things seem to be looking good now. The southwest section of the garden, originally planned for edamame and zucchini, changed entirely. We ended up planting Brussels sprouts and peppers. I'm not sure why I neglected to have peppers in the original plan, but they're very easy to grow as long as they have full sun. We had extra cabbage plants, and it's so good for you, so we planted it in place of a few zinnia plants. Some of those cabbages will be ready to harvest very soon. The northwest quadrant plan almost worked out except for the broccoli. They were decimated by insects and we needed to pull them out. We replaced them by planting edamame seeds, which seem to be doing okay. The tomato plant and basil in the background are thriving. In addition to being great culinary combination, they are perfect garden partners. Lastly, the central structure is working very well as a focal point and support structure for the snow peas. They are very bountiful and we couldn't be happier. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of our potager, and maybe next year when you're considering a vegetable garden, you'll consider a potager as well. It's a lot of fun.